Hi, everyone. Before we get to today's segment, I just want to say I hope you are enjoying our Outlook 2025. I know we have enjoyed putting together this guest roster for you. And just wanted to remind you that if you haven't downloaded the Danny Report, I strongly urge you to, because I've been doing this for over 20 years and I've learned so many incredible lessons. We have compiled some of the best ones that I have learned in this Danny Report. You can get it at DannyReport.com. It is free and available to you all. Let's get to today's segment. Hi, this is Daniela Cambone. Welcome back to the Daniela Cambone Show. We're continuing with our Outlook 2025. And when you're talking trends, you know who I have to call. Gerald Celente is my guest today, the master, the founder, the publisher of the Trends Journal. Gerald, Merry almost Christmas.
Buon Natale.
I was going to say peace on earth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, all seriousness, we've been doing this how long, Gerald? I always invite you on for the Outlook. I don't know. It's over a decade,
Oh,
right?
well over a decade, yeah.
All over a decade. So obviously I want to talk about the trends that you see in the new year. But I thought we'd start with this. I mean, there's so much I hope I can cover with you here today. But actually, forget that a second. Forget that a second. How are you?
I'm blessed for everything that I have, feeling great, but I'm very sad, to see what's happening to society and what's going on around the world. And I got to write about it every day. And the slaughter going on in Gaza and what's going on there, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. The bombs away every day, Sudan. I mean, it's one place after another, and it's just so sad.
It is.
And so that really makes me sad. And then there's, the decline of society. And we're talking before we went on the air about where I'm up here in Kingston. I see how people are flooding up here from the city. The city's not what it used to be. They want to get the hell out of there. What are the prices of homes? Up almost 50% since 2020.
I want to talk about that with you. Forget it. You think you could buy a home in New York City, and not just New York City.
Again, look what's going on. Who owns the homes now? Oh, the big corporations, the investment funds, the hedge funds, the venture capitalists. That never existed. You know when it began to exist? In 2008, when the panic of '08 hit. And the slime ball banks, the bandits, they created that thing. Remember the subprime mortgages? Got no money, got no job, deep in debt. Don't worry about it. Sign over here. You can buy a house.
Well, you made me think because, I was doing my research before this interview and I was watching old footage, and you were saying, and this is why it's so important that you come on, how you were driving around before the bust up of '08, and you were warning about what was going to happen, that we were facing a housing crisis, and how you saw or see signs today that remind you of when you were driving around warning folks of what was coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, this is serious. There's no way out of this. They're going to be lowering interest rates, and the lower interest rates are going to go, the higher inflation is going to go. This isn't rocket science. And now, I'm sorry, go on.
No, please finish.
Well, we're saying that when Trump comes in, there's a lot of positive energy. Again, it's not who you like, who you want, what you wish for. It's what is. And we only go by the data. Let's go back to 2018, December. The S&P 500 and the Dow had their worst December since 1931, the Great Depression. What did Trump do when he was president? He forced Powell to lower interest rates, and he did it in January 2019. Oh, what happened? Oh, the repo crisis that everybody forgot about. And then the COVID war begins in 2020. So everything was going down big before this happened. Germany was this far away from a recession in 2019. So now when the COVID broke out and they locked down everything, everything should have crashed. I thought the housing market would crash. I didn't know they were going to make up zero interest rate policy and pump in trillions and trillions of dollars of money backed by nothing and printed on nothing. I didn't know that. And going back again to what we were talking about before, when the crisis happened in 2008 and people lost their homes, all of a sudden, was it Blackstone, all these companies buying up homes. You can't afford a home. We own the home. We'll rent it to you. And that's what they're doing again. Now they're building to rent. Now these big hedge funds, venture capitalists, they're getting homes built to rent, not to sell. Because all we've become are plantation workers of Slavelandia.
So what does it mean? What does it mean for the folks though, Gerald? When can we be able to afford a home again?
You're not going to. It's only going to get worse. The average person, again, you have to look at what happened. You know, when I was a young man, many years ago, there used to be a thing called drug stores, hardware stores, stationery stores, grocery stores. Now they're all chains. My uncles, may they rest in peace, 4 fish stores. One uncle owned a butcher's shop. They're gone. They're gone. The middle class is gone. No more shoe stores. They're all chains. No more stationery stores. You got Staples. What the hell else do you need? No, you got Home Depot. You got Lowe's. You don't need any hardware stores. So the people are nothing more than plantation work. This is better than the plantation system because back then you had to house them and feed them. Now you give them $16 an hour and get the hell out of here and come back tomorrow.
Sarah, why don't they want us to own the homes?
If they own everything. Hey, look, here. Let's say you or I want to talk to Trump.
Right.
Are we going to be able to talk to him? No. Hey, but I'm one of the richest men in the world. I could talk to anybody I want. I'm a billionaire. I'll get any job I want. You're a nobody. You're a nobody. Only the billionaires got the money and the power. This is America, land of opportunity? No more. They own it all. The numbers are there. Again, go back to the COVID war. Not my numbers. Go to Oxfam. Look how much richer the billionaires have gotten since the COVID and how poorer everybody else has gotten. And it's all over the world.
Well, this is an important point because I read a great article. It's an op-ed in the Financial Times about how America is facing the mother of all bubbles. People don't want to hear it, especially now. To your point, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of hope. I think it's great that people have hope. I don't want people to get me wrong. I think it's a wonderful thing to have hope and believe that things will get better. But we also have to be realistic of what America is facing and that no one has a magic wand and that the debt is not going away anytime soon. So this author who wrote the article said, he gets so much pushback when he talks about the mother of all bubbles, saying, people will say, well, there's no sign that the bubble will deflate anytime soon. And he really blames the hype for American superiority is now the stuff of TV, radio, podcasts, newspaper columns, and magazine cover stories, which have a record of pointing the wrong way on future trends. Not the Trends Journal, though. So talk to me a little bit about what you're uncovering, Gerald, because I don't want people to get blindsided thinking everything's going to be okay now.
Well, on one end, again, Trump is going to do everything he can to pump the economy up. He's a bottom line guy. And that's why we're saying we believe that even though they're saying that inflation's higher than anticipated, that and the Fed's going to be lowering interest rates, that they're going to slow down the interest rate. He's going to do everything he can to pump the economy up. Again, like him, hate him, it's going to do everything he can. Look at his track record. As I mentioned, what happened back in 2018 in December. He's going to do everything now. So again, the lower, Canada just lowered the Bank of Canada lowered them, 50 basis points? The ECB just lowered them another, 25
And
basis points?
Freeland, Freeland just resigned, Gerald. I don't know if you saw that. Your favorite.
And a little clown boy up there, Trudeau. Don't you know my daddy was? And I'm not sure it was a Fidel Castro or just no. Anyway, it's a freak show. What I'm saying is they're all lowering interest rates. It's one big club. The United States is not going to keep interest rates high because all these look what's going on with the loonie and the euro. They're all going down. Everything's going down. So the United States is going to lower interest rates, we forecast, because they can't keep them high because the dollar will be too strong and these other economies will suffer because they're low. Their currency's going down. Inflation will kill them. So the lower interest rates go in the United States, the higher gold prices go. That's the way we see it. So right now, gold is on, gold, again, one of our top trends for 2024 was a golden year for gold.
Yes.
Gold prices have gone up over $600 an ounce since then. They were flying high until Trump came in. And again, this is why if somebody calls me a futurist, I said, nobody could predict the future. There are too many wild cards.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the Trump again. Go back to when he wasn't president and how much he couldn't stand Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and sort of fraud they were. Oh, then he got how much money? What, a couple of $100 million in the crypto club, and now he's pro crypto. And what is Bitcoin now? Like $107,000 a coin. It went up over 40% since he came into office. That brought gold down. If there were no cryptocurrencies, gold prices would be at least double what they are now.
But yeah, and I want to dig a little deeper there because, well, you were right. It was a golden year. I mean, gold made record highs. Central banks, piling in on gold, Gerald. Poland, China's resumed buying gold. But yet the retail investor's not there yet because they've been just in obviously they're looking at what's happening in the S&P, they're looking at what's happening in Bitcoin, and gold pales in comparison.
Again, if Bitcoin, again, its thing wasn't invented, 2009 or something like that. Again, it's not what you want, what you wish for, what you like. It's what is. And now with Trump behind this and the people that he's bringing into his government, very pro-crypto, we see this thing keep booming. And again, we've been right about it. In the magazine, the Trends Journal, each week, we've been very bullish on it. And we're saying it's going to continue to grow because of the people he has into office.
But what do you do? Do you buy it at like $106,000?
Again, they're the other cryptos that you're going to start coming in and playing the game. It's a gambling game. If that wasn't there, you would see gold prices, at least I believe, double what they are now. If you didn't have all these cryptocurrencies. And again, countries like El Salvador going, crypto. It's like it's real. It's not fake. So although the thing may be fake and it's just invented, it's just in thin air, but it's what is.
I mean, you saw Michael Saylor proposing the idea that the U.S. just sell all their gold and buy Bitcoin. I mean, could you see that happening?
No, you got to be out of your mind. Oh, again, how come we're not allowed to see the gold in Fort Knox? Nobody can look in there. Not allowed to look. Do we have it? I mean, this is America? You can't look at the gold? Hey, I'm Elon Musk. I bet I could go look at the gold. I got to tell you, I'm really disgusted. Once upon a time, there was a thing called robber barons. Hasn't changed. my cousin's grandson went to Sarah Lawrence College. He finally got a job. He's working at Target. He got a degree in journalism. He's working at Target for like $16 an hour or something. Look at all the young people that can't find jobs. Look at all the young kids that aren't going to college now because they know how bad it is. And they
You're
can't
better
afford
off not going to college, right? How much is that plumber charging you, Gerald?
it. I know. It's no, so it's gonna be again, we're still very bullish on gold. To us, it's the number one. And again, we have no advertisements. No, nobody pays us to say anything. We're 100% bullish on gold. Cryptocurrencies has its weaknesses. It doesn't, and now nobody talks about the weaknesses. The thing is invented. It's an invented thing. Gold is real. It's been around for, since the beginning of recorded history. And it's not going to go away. And the central banks are going to keep buying it. Inflation is going to keep rising. And again, the deeper the dollar falls, the higher gold prices are going to go. And again, that's the other thing you have to look at about all these countries that are disgusted with America's economic and geopolitical hegemony. The BRICS are real. And there's going to be a point when they've had enough of the dollar and enough of the United States. We're only 345 million people out of 8 billion.
And Trump stopped the BRICS from growing in power. He's made a massive threat, 100% tariffs. Don't even think about moving away from the dollar.
Yeah. And by the way, I have to tell you, I'm positive. I believe in tariffs. And I'll tell you why. Because once upon a time, the United States government used to get their money from tariffs, not taxes. They invented the tax scheme, about 1913, from that slime ball, may he rot in hell, Woodrow Wilson, who brought us into World War I, gave us the Federal Reserve, gave us the IRS, and gave us federal income tax.
So many great gifts.
Yeah. Before that, all the dough came in from tariffs.
Well, there's talk to resume. Are you optimistic that we could go back to that?
I am. And again, I just start. Okay. I do the research,
but I'm happy that you are, because I know during the election cycle you were not happy with either candidate, but they're saying things that I know line up with what you like, Gerald.
Again, I read McKinley, the former president. He said, "What do you want? Do you want cheap products or do you want high wages?" Tariffs. He was pro-tariffs. We used to have, once upon a time, I'm up here in Kingston, Gann shirt factories. Oh, factories everywhere. Oh, a thing called the Rust Belts now. We used to have a middle class because there was manufacturing in America. You can't make any dough working in these chain stores. Go to any Marshalls, go to any Target, go to anyone. Every time you go in, before you go in the door, there's a sign up, help wanted, full-time or part-time. You see them everywhere. That's, by the way, why they wanted all the cheap labor coming and all the immigrants. Because the people you can't make any money working in these places. When we had manufacturing, we had a middle class. And again, only one of our top trends a couple of years ago was that the countries that are going to be the most profitable are the ones that are most self-sustaining and self-sufficient. When the Ukraine war began and the United States and the West started putting sanctions all on Russia, and Biden came out and said, "We're going to punish Putin," we said, "No, that's not going to happen." All those companies that are leaving Russia, the Russian people are going to take over those countries. And Russia has not all, but all of the human and natural resources they need to be self-sustaining. The same thing with China, self-sustaining and self-sufficient. Same thing with America. We have the human and natural resources Oh, again, I grew up during the Vietnam War. I'm the same age as Trump. Those dirty commies, if we don't stop them, they're going to take over all of Asia. The dominoes are going to keep falling. Oh, the commies are still running Vietnam, right? They're our second largest importer of clothes and shoes. Oh, the country that we killed over 3 million people and about 60,000 American boys died and the 250,000. Yeah, but we're doing business with them. So shut up. We're getting this too. We're making a lot of money. So shut up. And wait a minute. I thought we were going to get distal commies. We're making a lot of money. Okay. I'm against globalization. I believe I want to import the prosciutto from Italy, that fine wine from France. Well, how about getting the products made that we could get made here? And so I totally believe in becoming a self-sustaining and self-sufficient nation.
Interesting. Okay. Because few points here. I've had other experts on who will argue if you study history, you'll see tariffs do not work. And then if I bring someone on who's pro-tariffs, like I recently had another guest on, he got grilled because, the comments were, well, no man is an island. You can't just like close yourself in. And that at the end of the day, if you have these tariffs on Canada, Mexico, China, at the end of the day, the American will pay the price because how much are you going to have to be paying for your goods? You know the script.
Yeah. Again, go back to when America used to be America. Oh, there was like, who's the guy that changed it all? What was his name? Oh, here, this is a T-shirt that I did when he ran for president back in 1992. You see that?
Yeah.
Beware Slick Willie. NAFTA. Remember NAFTA? Hey, get them jobs down to Mexico. Go on, shut the manufacturing plants down there. Go down to Mexico. He's the guy that brought
Trump wants to end. Trump wants to end. He doesn't like NAFTA.
Look what happened. Again, I'm in upstate New York was filled with manufacturing. Manufacturing was all over this country. Look at the Rust Belt areas now. Oh, and this is the Clinton that brought China into the World Trade Organization. And this is the Clinton that you could hear this guy BS for free that gets paid $300,000 an hour to talk to like the Goldman Sachs guys or something like that. These are called paybacks. There's pennies. The payback. Look at the guy's a multi-billionaire. Wait, a little clown boy of nothing. And look where he is now. Look at all the dough that he got by doing all these deals. Now, I want to bring, I truly
they all get rich.
Yep. Look at Obama. Little nothing of a nothing. Look at the dough they're worth now. They get paid off. Again, I was the assistant, as you know, the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. You saw the picture of me when I picked up Ronald Reagan at the Chicago Hilton. I was 30 years old, put on a brunch for him and 16 of our board of directors. I moved the president of Major. I did a gig with USA Today was a big newspaper. I was with Major and the Prince of Norway. I've been princes, presidents, of prime ministers. I know what what it looks like. It's a freak show. They're only in it for themselves, not for we the people. Look at all that. You want to run for president? All right. What did Harris get? Like 2.2 billion? Oh, Trump only got 1.4 billion. Oh, America, democracy. You want to run for Senate? You want to run for Congress? You got to get money. And you get the money from these people that they call lobbyists, that they do what you tell them to do when you get into office. It's not about we the people.
I had Dr. Ron Paul on recently. Oh. He's having a moment again. He's back. Elon Musk retweeting a lot of what Dr. Paul's suggesting. One of them being that foreign aid is evil. That's what Ron Paul ran on. He wanted to end foreign aid. He thinks it's unconstitutional. I know you've been saying that for how long?
Well, I launched Occupy Peace, over a decade ago. I have peace rallies.
So this is something that do you think that will end?
It
Now
can.
that Elon Musk has jumped on that
I think
bandwagon?
so. I really do. I think there's a lot of power in there now, and he's, and I think there's a great opportunity for a positive movement. Again, I'm no fan of Trump at all,
Right.
but I think that some of the things that he's saying, again, if you don't believe in tariffs, then why don't we go back to when America was a self-sustaining economy? When they had tariffs, and look how rich the country used to be. As you well know, everybody in the world wanted to come to America at one time. It was the place that, not anymore, but
Right.
it used to be. You
And
could,
it's great. But then, okay, everything gets made back in America. Fantastic. Who do you see doing those jobs?
but here's the problem from it. They the deals that they're giving to the bigs. If you, like Trump said something, if you invest $1 billion or something, I forgot what he said, we'll give you grants and stuff. Well, how about the small people? Look what they just gave, what, some chip company, what, $6 billion? I mean, well, so they're only helping the big companies get bigger. That's not going to make it change. You have to, the smaller companies, the individual companies have to build. So if they're only going to give the money to the bigs, it's not going to change anything. It'll be more of the same, just in a different direction. So if they're going to, the tariffs are only going to help the big companies, it's not going to reverse the negative trend. And again, that's where they're getting the money from. You being an Italian, once upon a time, there was this guy called Mussolini, the merger of state and corporate powers, fascism, his definition. And that's what's going on, the corporate powers. Look at, and we're talking about cutting back spending. Oh, they just passed, the House just passed a defense budget for almost $1 trillion.
Well, you got to get rid of those drones in the sky, Gerald.
Oh, no, they said those are airplanes. They just came out. Those are airplanes.
We kid, we kid, but I know Gerald sees a lot of these things as distractions, distracting points.
Well, again, I don't know if they're drones or not, but I'm just saying I don't believe anything the government says. Now they're saying they're airplanes.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, there was so much concern and there was so much talk of a World War III. We saw the headlines throughout 2024. We've used it as well on this program. Does that, and I was just speaking with my mother yesterday, and she's so concerned about the possibility of World War III. Do you feel it's dampened now, the same, more? What's your gut feeling on that?
It's already begun. And it's just going to be a wild card that makes it official. I read very often. Let me see if it's over here. Oh, this is a great quote, by the way. Every gun that is made, every warship launched, every rocket fired signifies in the final sense a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, those who are cold and not clothed. The world in arms is not spending money alone. It is spending the sweat of its laborers, the genius of its scientists, the hopes of its children. This is not a way of life at all in any true sense. Under the clouds of war, it is humanity hanging on a cross of iron. Dwight D. Eisenhower, 5-star general, Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces, and 2-term President of the United States, warning the people, and that's exactly what's happened. So the article that I don't know if it's here, that I keep reading, it's from History Today. And you could just Google it up. You could Google up and say, Franklin Roosevelt seizes Japanese assets. And what happened was that in July of 1941, Franklin Roosevelt seized all Japanese assets. Here it is. History Today, mainstream. As I said, it's already begun. there's going to be a false flag or something that makes it official.
Even if the US gets out of the way.
Yes. It'll be no, if the US gets out of the way, nothing will happen. And that's the US. Here, on July 26, 1941, President Franklin Roosevelt seized all Japanese assets in America. Britain and the Dutch East Indies. Wait a minute. Dutch East Indies? What are the Dutch doing in Indonesia? Oh, we're stealing and robbing everything. What's wrong with you? Okay. Swung into action. You know why? Because the Japanese invaded. It was in retaliation for the Japanese occupation of French Indochina. Wait a minute. What are the French doing in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos? And you're calling it French Indochina? Oh, you're stealing their rubber, their tin, rape, pillaging. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that's why the United States, Great Britain, and Dutch East Indies followed suit. You ready? The result, Japan lost access to 3/4 of its overseas trade and 88% of its imported oil. They only import 100%. Oh, wait a minute. You cut off all their oil and you just killed all their overseas trade. I can't understand why they bombed Pearl Harbor. That was in July and December. All right? I didn't know this until 2 years ago. I did not know that. They don't teach this. There's going to be a false flag event if this Ukraine war keeps escalating. Biden's sending more money, more weapons. And if the Israel war, they're talking about, even Trump's talking about going after Iran. If they go after Iran, this is going to be, it'll be oil prices. Well, now they're low. And again, look at the price of Brent crude. We're talking about $73 a barrel. You go back to like April, it was right about 90. You're looking at Brent crude, and it's showing you how weak the global economy is. So anyway, if war breaks out, you're going to see Brent crude go to like $130 a barrel, $120 a barrel. That'll crash the economy and blow the bubble out of the artificially propped up equity markets. Those are the things that we're concerned about. A false flag event, making something happen where the people, here, go back to 9/11. Look what was going on, the dot-com bust. Little Georgie Bush's ratings were in the toilet. Then what was the NASDAQ down, like 70% or something? 9/11 happens, but all forgotten about. Then we had that fake housing boom. Everybody forgot about the dot-com bust. That's what I'm concerned about.
So, and that's will lead into my next question, because I've been asking guests coming on this series if they had to pick one red flag that you're watching carefully for 2025. Which would it be? What would it be?
Again, a false flag event, like they're bombing a nuclear power plant. You know, you can make up anything you want. Something that'll rouse people. Going back to what I just read about this.
Yeah.
World War II had already begun before the United States got involved in it. It was the event. 80% of the American people were opposed to going to war with Europe before they bombed Pearl Harbor. 80% were opposed. They bombed Pearl Harbor, we're at war. That's how quick it could change.
It makes me think, you know, we went back to the motherland, Frank Giustra and I. Gerald, I don't know if you caught that episode. I urge viewers to watch it.
Yes, I did.
So we were just there, and, you know, what he said was, it doesn't matter who the president is, doesn't matter who the Fed chair is. What you're talking about is bigger than either of them. They're not really in charge.
Go back to 9/11. How can anybody with a brain bigger than a pea listen to this little stupid boy, George Bush, a little daddy's boy of nothing? We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. 90% of the people supported him. Oh, America, the longest war in American history, the Afghan war. And again, we wrote about this in detail in the Trends Journal magazine as it was happening. The Afghan, they were saying, no, we want to talk to you. We had nothing to do with this. You know what Bush said? We have no time to talk. And the people followed.
If 2024 was the year of gold, 2025 is what?
Again, we look at it, it's going to be a big crypto year if they keep going the way they're going. And we're still very positive on gold. Again, you're not going to see gold prices go down much. Gold, as we see it, it's had its correction. It could go down another $100, $200 temporarily, but it'll go back up. And 200 down from 600 over 600 up isn't a lot. So it's had its correction. So gold is long-term for us. But if you're going to gamble, you know, we're gambling, we play the Bitcoin and we play the crypto game. Because that's the players that are there now. You go with the players.
Gerald, I appreciate you always coming on to educate us, get us prepared. I just don't want people to be blindsided. We started by saying there's a lot of hope.
Yep.
There's a lot of hopium out there. And, you know, of course, we all hope it's going to turn out okay. We all hope this new administration can bring about change. But I mean, there's just things that are just too big that are still there. Debt being, you know, the number one, that how is the US going to get out of this and all the repercussions that will stem from it?
I believe if, you know, again, when I talked about, you know, people call you an isolationist, this or that. You know, again, I had peace rallies here. I had Judge Napolitano, Scott Ritter.
Yes.
You know, I've been doing this, you know, over a decade. And I often read George Washington's farewell address when he left office. Now, this is a real man that fought, not like these little boys with big mouths that couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. This is the Washington that crossed the Delaware, a real man. He warns the American people, don't become involved in any foreign entanglements. Don't love a nation, don't hate a nation. Because if you do to either one of them, you become a slave to them. He goes on to say that basically this stuff has been going on for centuries. And we're not going to solve it. The purpose of this country is to build this country and protect this country, not to become involved in these. Now, going back to the tariffs, I believe in the same thing. I believe made in America. I swear to God, this morning, you know, one of my books, my favorite book, my Zidzi book, when Zidzi gave Honey Boy, the Neapolitan dialect for Auntie, about growing up, what America used to be. And Doris Roberts, who played the mother in Everyone Loves Raymond, her last starring role was playing my aunt in this book. And Doris Roberts passed away 15 minutes into the movie. Get on YouTube. But anyway, so today I'm having breakfast and someone sent me these wonderful biscuits that they made. And I put it on in this little plate that was Zidzi's, made in Syracuse. That's what I was thinking today as I was eating this. Look at a nice little plate. Made in Syracuse, New York. No more. Made in China. I want it made in Syracuse. I want to support America. And by the way, Occupy Peace, close the bases overseas, or 900 bases overseas. What are we doing in Italy and Germany? Get out of there. Secure the homeland. Bring home the troops. And you want to go to war? Let the people vote. We're the ones that pay for it with our money and our lives, not these little clown boys in girls in Congress. They don't go fight. Could you imagine Obama or Clinton or little Georgie Bush, a man fighting? These guys couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. I want peace on earth, and I want America to be the America that I grew up in, that had the real soul and spirit. And I think if Trump lives by his word, he can make some of that happen.
It's amazing. That plate is a treasure now. It's a treasure. And I know when you were saying that, I know the exact feeling. You know, I'm back home in Canada, and when I find something from my, parents' closet from the 70s or 80s, then you still see the made in Canada, whatever country you're from. And it's like a treasure. It's like, wow. And doesn't that plate feel worth like it's $1 million, Gerald?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think exactly what I was thinking of this morning when I had that. I got to put it on my Zizzy plate.
You are a true patriot, Gerald. That's why I saw that video where you said someone stopped you and said, "Hey, your flag's ripped."
You saw that one, yeah. Boy, I went after that guy. Called me you saw the flags I have out here. I got all these buildings. Had a ripped flag. The guy said, that I'm a disgrace to America because I have a ripped flag. How dare you? I went after this guy. So who the F do you think you're talking to?
You're talking to a guy who has a black belt, by the way. He probably didn't know that.
They don't expect a little old man to, come after you like that. But no, I love this country. As I said, if I was born, that's why I own these buildings. If I was born in Altavilla, Arpina, Vica Quenz, I wouldn't be me. I'm only me because of Monopolitano, born in the Bronx, born to be free.
The real Bronx tale. He's the real deal. We love you, Gerald.
Well, I love you too. Thank you so much for all you do. And everybody, keep watching what you're doing, ITM trading. I'm totally supportive of what you're doing, and I appreciate it very much.
I was going to say one last point. I was watching your old videos and how much, it's incredible. Legacy media used to be really good. I'm talking the CNN, Oprah, you did all those shows. You were on all those shows.
Will you thrive or barely survive when the new millennium gets here? Gerald Celente is the author of Trends 2000.
We are joined tonight by Gerald Celente, director of the Trends Research Institute from New York.
And today, they would never have, a Gerald Celente on these mainstream shows. It was like, when was the demise of legacy media, Gerald? Could you pinpoint it?
Yeah, it began to go down, as I said, when Clinton did the Federal Communications Act in 1996. I used to be on CNN almost like 4 times a month. I was on Oprah twice. I used to be on Good Morning America all the time. When I come out my top trends, it would be I'd go to the biggest first and the second and the third. So I'd be on the Today Show, then I go to Good Morning America, then I go to CBS Morning News after. We do, and then I was on everybody all the time. And then when it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah,
now they all have. If you want to hear one side, go to MSNBC. If you want to hear another side, go to Fox. There was one time when you wanted to hear every side.
Yes, I'd love someone to do a thesis on this because, and Doug Casey would be on Donahue,
Yeah.
And that's incredible that they had different voices, different opinions. It's so sad. As someone who studied journalism, to see that footage, it almost brought a tear to my eye. I think, once upon a time, it was good.
Oh yeah. I came up with the term prostitutes.
Right.
Media whores that get paid to put out by their corporate pimps and government whoremasters. Look how many people in the media come from government. Oh, what's that Psaki that used to be the mouthpiece for Biden? She's over there. Or Stephanopoulos, he has his show. He used to work for Clinton. One after another. It's as George Carlin used to say, it's one big club and you ain't in it.
We're not in it. We're definitely not in it. And whatever. I'm happy
Matter
about
of fact, his brother, Patrick, used to work for me, Patrick Carlin, his older brother. He was a great guy. He passed away. But yeah, it's one big club and you're not in it. And that's what it is.
Well, guess what? Merry Christmas, Gerald. Buon Natale.
Buon
Like I
Natale.
said, we love you, and I wish you continued success. Everyone should be a subscriber of the Trends Journal. Support Gerald and his mission of putting some truth out there in the world, and peace on earth. I hope.
Peace on earth. Thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for watching. We'll have more great content, conversations coming your way on our Outlook 2025. If you want to be up to date and know what to be on the lookout for, this is the show you want to watch. So sign up at danielacambone.com and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.